It's no secret that one of my favorite anime tags is harem. Yes, that's a ridiculous tag because it follows the same sequence and uses the same tropes. An ordinary boy meets an extraordinary girl, and together they face countless trials and challenges while meeting other girls, and all of them eventually falling in love with him. There was no way it could happen in real life. So then, why do I like it despite being predictable and unrealistic? Perhaps it's because I have a harem of my own. Yes, it may be hard to believe, but I have more than one lover. That is of tongue. They love playing with my tongue and my mouth, and I feel a bit of intimacy every time they move my lips. Perhaps I should start by introducing my first lover, Taga. She's a gentle voice who's had many friends. She's been influenced by them, but she still thrived to become independent and learn from her previous mistakes. Or at least that's what she says. One thing I do know is that she's really good at opening to others. Out of all of my lovers, though, I've known her the longest. She wasn't perfect, but she was natural. She often laughs when apologizing, and she often speaks while I watch anime. I find those things displeasing, but I know she means no harm. I always thought that she was the only one I needed, until I was tied with one another. My second lover is very popular, N. She's known all over the world and has even traveled to different countries. People hear her on television all the time, and copying her makes you sound like a professional, loved by the society. What people don't know is that her parents were German, and she doesn't seem to recognize it herself. Also, she's pretty rash and direct, but because she sounds smart, nobody really minds her personality. Everyone loves her, even my parents, so they planned an engagement between me and her. I couldn't reject the offer, but I also didn't want to leave Taga alone. So the two made a compromise that they would take turns with me. Oddly enough, Taga accepted it, and so all was well. Until I met a new one. She was Taga's relative, Loka, a more traditional voice. In fact, most people see them as the same voice because they come from the same family. She can be rash at times, and she only talks to other relatives because not a lot of people understand her. According to her, she has different personalities, and that she doesn't understand most of them herself. She was raised far from the big cities, and so she hopes that she would not be forgotten. Of course, she didn't become my lover, but we had an intimate relationship ranging from way back when, and I just don't remember when that was. But still, no more problems, right? Well, that should have been the end. But then I met my idol, Ni, the one I've always heard while watching anime. She was humble and gentle, traditional yet modern. Out of all the voices I knew, she was the one who knew her own identity. She's very respectful, but she can be down to earth as well. She's related to the strongest business in the world, and she also has a fan base of her own. She's not as famous as N, but she tries to learn from her as much as she can. And it was love at first sight. I admired her so much that I'd often dream of us living together. I loved her so much that there was no way she would know about an average guy like me. Then a miracle happened. I won a contest from her fan club and I got the chance to converse with her. Every time I spent talking to her, my heart wouldn't stop beating like crazy. That's when I decided I'd spend the rest of my life with her. But what about my other lovers? Would they approve? And just when things couldn't get any worse, it did. Somewhere along the way, I met Taga's former rival, S. She was suave and elegant, and most of all, sexy. She easily catches people's hearts. In fact, she was popular before N came into the picture. Years before, Taga and S lived in the same roof, so. But S was so powerful that she kept ordering her around. And eventually, Taga wanted to be independent, and so she asked her roommate to leave. I'm not really interested in her, but she keeps luring me in. And slowly, I began to grow feelings for her. I don't know how the others would react once they hear about her, though. So, all in all, I'm in a relationship with five voices. You may be wondering why I'm calling them voices, and yet I call them she or her. That's because this is my own harem of languages. Confused? Well, let's go over my lover's full names. First is Tagalog, which is my mother tongue. Second is English, my second language. Next is Ilocano, the regional language which I had already forgotten and kind of vaguely remember. And there's a language I admire, Nihongo, the language I'm currently studying. Finally, Espanol, the language that I want to learn in the future. So I have the childhood friend, the famous fiance, the voice from the past, the crush I admire, and the mature fox. I guess I really do have a harem. But is having all of them a bad thing? Well, I do know that whenever they accompany me, I learn more about the world than I could ever with just one voice. So I guess in this case, there's probably nothing wrong with having a harem.